4, 3, 2.
Live from Indianapolis, Indiana, welcome to the Crossroads Sports Radio Show, presented by Scott K. Nichols and State Farm Insurance. And now, here's your hosts, Brandon Reef and Jonathan Birdsong.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Crossroads Sports Radio, episode number 241. I'm your host, Brandon Reef, joined as always by my man, Jonathan Birdsong. JB, how are you? Happy holidays.
Hey, man. Happy New Year, man. How's it going, man? Good to be back. We're going to kick off Crossroads Sports, episode 241. Here we are, 2023. Can you believe it? It's the future. But like I said, Happy New Year, Brandon. But we can ramble all about that and kind of catch up about how our New Year went. But before we do all that, man, please give us the official rundown of tonight's show.
Absolutely. We've got a good show this evening. We've got obviously our college football talks. We had a good plethora of the big bowl games this past week with obviously the Sugar Bowl, Rose Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl, the college football playoff semifinals that did not disappoint on New Year's Eve. We've got our preview with the national championship, the Natty. We'll talk Georgia and TCU tonight. I think Tanner will join us. I didn't get the confirmation, but he may be joining us to talk that. We'll give our picks. We'll talk Pick'em. Pick'em, we're down to one game left this year, one final game. So we'll talk that. NFL, we'll recap the week of the NFL with the playoff picture, kind of where the playoffs are sitting at right now, as well as talk a little Colts-Giants, a little back talking going on, I guess, from Thibodeau and Jeff Saturday. That's an interesting conversation as well as some coaching moves, exploring trades, head coaching vacancies, because Black Monday is coming next Monday with more head coach firings most likely. And then obviously we're going to lead up a little bit of college hoops and then the NBA. The NBA this past week has just been on fire. Speaking of on fire, our Pacers, they're 6-1 the last 7 games, so we'll talk that. They're in action tonight in Philadelphia here on Wednesday. If you're listening to it on the podcast, big show this evening, taking your calls and more. John, until I see Tanner calling, I guess, we'll talk NFL. We'll go the NFL route first. National Football League, John. I guess before we go into Giants-Colts game and the playoff picture and everything, I mean, I guess we got to talk about the elephant in the room. The incident on Monday Night Football with Damar Hamlin and him going down on national television in front of a national crowd on Monday Night Football, fell after a tackle, cardiac arrest. It ends up being, he gets stretchered out, having to perform CPR him. Critical condition, went to the hospital. I feel like I'm not repeating anything that everybody already knows already. I don't want to go into that. I feel like there's been a plethora of information about that already. So what me and John are just going to do is just kind of give our initial takes and thoughts on it and go from there. We're not going to repeat the whole process because you can find this everywhere on every single news station. And that's not what we do. My thoughts, John, is them stopping the game. I thought it was the right thing to do between the coaches saying, hey, these guys can't replay. You got people crying. They're really shook up about it with them being their teammate or even just being, imagine us being at jobs and one of our persons, we're working together, it happens. It was the right call, whether it was the Joe Buck and Aikman saying, hey, it's a 5-minute thing, or whether it was the NFL doing it. It was the right thing to do to stop it, postpone it. The fans, I applaud them. There's been awesome donations going to his charity on the GoFundMe. It's, I think, over $5 million right now. But it looks like he's showing signs of improvement, is what was the latest report as of 6 hours ago. That he's remained hospitalized in critical condition still, but showing signs of improvement, which was great. That we're seeing improvement with him. On that side of it, John, it's scary situation to see him play out. I thought everybody on ESPN actually did a great job covering it because it was a very uncomfortable situation as me and you talked that night on the
Right.
phone.
Right, kind of very unprecedented waters, to say the least. We've seen injuries happen. You know what I'm saying? Even as a fan, as I know you are, Pittsburgh Steelers, we've seen like actual like paralysis kind of happen with linemen and whatnot over the years, but nothing like that to the tune where a player's heart stopped. I won't lament too, like Brandon kind of said, I won't lament too much on the news cycles kind of just took over. You know what I'm saying? With that, obviously. And then doctors and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, they call in specialists and you get, you know what I'm saying, but, if people still, I'll be honest with you, Brandon, if people still praying, I would continue to still pray. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you feel so inclined, you know what I'm saying, give $5, give $10. You know what I'm saying? I know we got a lot of betting degenerates that listen to our show, man, that win a little bit. And what's wrong with giving them an extra $5 to a toy drive? And I know the toy drive is over, but, you know what I'm saying, again, we shared on all our social medias, like how to get in contact with that particular GoFundMe. But I would continue to ask people, you know what I'm saying, as I do, you know what I'm saying. And I mean, hey, just continue to pray, man, because again, that's an unprecedented type of situation. And you know, so we all know football is a beat 'em up, hurt 'em up sport. But like it's all those things. So definitely, you know what I'm saying. Definitely still thinking about Lamar. Lamar said Lamar. Shoot, that's what happens when you don't have that on notes in front of you. Shame on you. We definitely still continue to thinking about DeMar Hamlin. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, man, unprecedented waters. And I as far as like how media people handle it, I think like you said, ESPN agency did a fine job of handling it. You know what I'm saying? It's not for me, and it's Brandon, you know what? It's not for me even like pick on those who didn't handle it. Because there were some media members that handled it in a different type of way. It was crass, and they didn't necessarily read the temperature of the room, didn't understand, what the heck was going on, and they should know better. And I'm not even gonna even name them. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even gonna keep them. You know what I'm saying? Out of our show. You know what I'm saying? So, but like, nah, man, everybody, I would, you know what I'm saying? Continue to pray for, you know what I'm saying, Hamlin. To get, because once it all happened, you know what I'm saying, everybody said nothing like what a great stand-up individual that he really is. I wanted to get back to his neighborhood and that type of thing, man. So those type of things need to be celebrated, you know what I'm saying, all the time, not when just somebody is unfortunately facing a life-threatening, you know what I'm saying, injury like he is, or you know what I'm saying, yeah. So I continue to pray for DeMar, man. Continue to pray for him, man. That's what I would suggest for everybody.
Yeah, I had a bet during that game. I bet a $20 bet in the middle of for that game, and obviously I got refunded, so I took that and donated it towards the cause for that toy drive, which is the right thing to do for anybody. Also, I've seen people doing it for their fantasy winnings and all that stuff.
Right.
Which is great to see. And when he gets out of this, he's going to look back and see that just the amount of people that care.
I'm glad you said that. Right. I'm glad you said that, Brandon. Because a lot of times people talk like, you know what I'm saying. Well, if not, yeah, you're right. When he gets out of this, right. Amen. That's what I would say, Brandon.
Yeah. Looking at the logistics, because you kind of got to look at the logistics because. Unfortunately, things go on, right?
Right.
NFL season goes on.
Right. So that's that. Right. So like that's what I would pick. So now we are going to nitpick some of our other media members that we are friends with. They're not necessarily friends with that. Like, so like, dude, Nimrod, media guy. Like, I get it, man. You want to be the first one to say it, but it take another day. You see what I'm saying? It's okay to talk about like how they make up that game because the playoff ramifications. Right, dude, it's like 7 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon. Like, telling like what is all in jeopardy in play here, Brandon? Because Cincinnati has a chance to have home field. So does who else? If Kansas City wins, it's like a real big mess. But like I said, the media members didn't, some of them didn't take it like a whole nother day. Like, just think about it. Like, yeah, like how do they get out of this? How do they get an extra game in? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, Buffalo right now is the 1 seed, and then it's Kansas City and Cincinnati. All 3 teams vying for that 1 seed. And there's only one. It's not like 2 teams get the bye. It's 1 team that gets the bye with the new playoffs.
Right.
You don't have really an extra week to do everything because it's at the end of the season. And if you worry about player safety, you're not going to put this in the middle of a week before another game, right? And you wouldn't want to put it after week 18, I wouldn't think, because that kind of gives a, quote, disadvantage going into the week of the playoffs. What if, God forbid, somebody else gets injured the week of before the playoff, 4 days before a playoff game when you're playing this game? I don't think you can give both teams a win.
But
I've tried thinking about it, John. I really don't know what you could do besides play the game. If you don't play the game, then obviously it's going to go to winning percentage, right? And I don't know if then what you do is you take whatever the percentage is for strength of schedule for what this game would be. If you take that out of the remaining teams who haven't played Kansas City and downward, and you take that game away, whether it's a win or a loss, and where would they be ranked if that happened? I don't know. I'm sure there's the billion-dollar business of the NFL is trying to figure that out, and then you have to think about fans getting their money back or how that's all going to work. And, I mean, there's a whole other side of it, right? Sports betting. There's open bets still. Right. There's fantasy football championships. You have millions of dollars on the line.
What happens if, so let's mirror it. What happens if a baseball game gets canceled and the Yankees are up on the Reds 8-3 and it's the 7th inning and lightning strikes the field?
It's a complete game.
To that game, Brandon?
It's a complete game after 5 innings. The problem is this was 3 minutes left in the first quarter. And then this happened.
Right, 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, so you can't even get to halftime.
No.
I don't know. They could go that route, though, Brandon. Like, technically, it's up 7-3, and that just be the end of the game. Considering, the situation and the circumstances surrounding, you know what I mean? They could do that.
Yeah, and boy, looking at it sucky-wise, wouldn't that suck for Buffalo, who's been trying to get a home game in the playoffs against Kansas City, and it would put Kansas City up there, and next thing you know, they're having to go back to Kansas City for a playoff game.
Back to Kansas City, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it would, and also, it would. No, I was just saying it would give the Bengals the AFC North title, so it would make the game against the Steelers, the state game already played. It would give the Ravens, they would automatically be out to win the division at that point.
Well, I don't know. The Ravens got a lot on their plate anyway.
Yeah.
Right. With Lamar injured and Lamar, their contract. If I don't know. I get what you're saying, man. I think at some point everybody's gonna take one for the team. You know what I'm saying? And it might be unfair, like whatever, as far as what dude, we're in unprecedented waters here. You know what I'm saying? So it might be unfair, but maybe that gets recompensated on the back end financially. Who knows?
Yeah. I'm trying to see. I'm looking right now because the New York Times put out an article today regarding this, that the NFL is still having. Yeah.
Do you think? So let me ask you this: Do you think we? So they can have a game. Do you think like they don't want to show a game because they think people are squeamish?
No.
You think that's what it is?
No.
I'm talking about these two changes, not anybody. The NFL, because somebody called in on JMB show and said she was kind of irate and it kind of over the top, and but she's like, they need to cancel the season. I'm like, man, they're not gonna cancel the season. That's not gonna happen.
No, I think
you know what I'm saying, but
I don't think the people watching it are squeamish or anything. I just think it'd be hard getting those two exact teams right back out to play each other because that's gonna be in the forefront of their mind when they play each other. I think the best thing that the NFL can do, and they deal with it all the time. They dealt with it twice already this year, John, is you just call it a tie. A no contest tie, and it happens, and it just goes towards the standings as a tie. I mean, there's what, 4? The Colts had a tie. Somebody else had a tie. The Redskins Commanders and Giants had a tie, and it just so happens you just got to deal with it. And I think that's what the NFL's going to end up doing, is just calling it a tie in a non-game, and then the records will be based. And it could also be called a non-game and just based on 16 games instead of 17. But I actually think they'll probably do a tie. That's the NFL also has an ace in the hole because there is an off week in the playoff schedule built in. So the league could push the playoff games back 1 week. That would leave the weekend of the 14th and 15th, which is now set for a wild card round for the resumption of the Bills-Bengals game. The playoffs then would start on the 21st, and the bye week would fill with the conference championship games, and the Super Bowl we played as scheduled still on February 12th. So there's a built-in week they can use.
Say a built-in week. Well, let's think about this. That built-in week, like that would be where would they have that game at?
Cincinnati, where it was.
And you know what I'm saying? So with regular fans,
yep.
all that, right? Okay.
Yep.
That's gonna be a high-rated game. You know that, right?
It's gonna be the only game on that weekend. It's the only game.
And it has like implications.
Right. So there wouldn't be an extra week between the conference championship and the Super Bowl. Because there's always that extra week of practice they get, and then they fly out that following Monday to the Super Bowl venue and yada yada. This would be, hey, you win your AFC NFC championship game on Sunday, and then you fly out Monday for media day to the Super Bowl.
Oh God, that's a lot, man. It's probably gonna be a tie, Brandon.
It probably will be. So we'll see. I did enjoy the arguments going on back and forth today from one of your buddies on this morning. I was watching that. The show barely got started 2 seconds in, and they were already going at it. So, let's talk about something that was even, I guess, less confusing from that was Colts-Giants, John. Colts just get waxed. Nick Foles gets injured. Sam Ehlinger has to come in. He gets smashed. Foles is down in pain, writhing, and Kalen Tindall was sitting there doing snow angels right beside him.
Oh, man. It's just embarrassing, dude. I said it for like the last 6 weeks. The coach is a hot mess. You have a rah-rah coach. It's very likable, fan favorite. You know what I'm saying? All those things and Jeff Saturday. But like statistically, man, he's last in every NFL statistical category since he took over the team. The team actually regressed when they were appointing him the coach. You know what I mean? So like, Brandon. So, and I get it. Those people who are going to say, well, Jeff Saturday doesn't have Shaq Leonard. Jeff Saturday doesn't have Jonathan Taylor. Jeff Saturday, like this is actually a merry-go-round at quarterback. You know what I'm saying? But like the execution of what is going out there, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't look like there's an offensive lineman that's buying in. I think they're ready to get the offseason going. The defense is out there still playing, still turning it out, but like, because I think a lot of those guys are going to be free agents, you know what I'm saying? I mean, potentially on different teams next year. But hell, they
look like they've gotten worse,
you know what I mean?
Since Saturday took over.
Yeah. Well, it just worked.
People look like they've quit. They don't care.
They regress. Well, yeah. Outside of Zaire Franklin, I haven't heard anybody as far from like, you know what I'm saying, sharing information with the media that has said anything about, hey man, we got pride going on at the end of this season. I haven't heard anything like that out of anybody.
And isn't Saturday supposed to be the rah-rah guy? Like he can build up people? I haven't seen any of that. You're laughing.
Well,
it's true.
Hey, we're still looking. We're looking towards the off season, man, and their off season we can all kind of scoot around it and laugh about it or whatever. But they got to start looking for a young quarterback and getting that going. They do. And I know everybody's saying, well, what about coach and what about general manager? Yeah, the ownership needs to be thinking, I got to get a quarterback.
Yeah. It's looking like they're probably going to have the number 5 or number 6 pick in the draft. John, I was looking at it. The Chicago Bears are sitting in one of the best seats going into this draft because they're possibly going to have the number 2. They're going to have the number 2 pick at least, maybe number 1. If Houston beats the Colts and the Bears lose to the Vikings, which the Bears are starting whoever their backup quarterback is, they're not playing Fields. So they're going to have the number 2 pick. So they can say, hey, you know what? It's Stroud. It's Bryce Young, 1 and 2. So who wants to step up to number 2? What are you going to give us for it?
Right.
Because they already got Fields. So you got to think they're probably going to give a 2nd and a 3rd for that. If you're Indianapolis, you don't have a 2nd. And the only 3rd you have is because of the Commanders. So do you give up that 3rd round and a future 1st round for that number 2 pick to the Bears? I mean, the Bears are sitting great. They're going to get offers after offer. They're sitting perfect.
Brandon, wouldn't you? I know everybody from Coach Nation listening to me is going to hate this. Wouldn't you just attach whatever you could in Jonathan Taylor to move up in the draft?
Yes, I would trade. You showed you can have a running game without him.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I get it because, you know what I'm saying, they need weapons. That's what Chicago is saying that they need. They need weapons for their quarterback so that he can execute. You know what I mean? Jonathan Taylor, hell, this probably, I wouldn't even, it's not out of the realm of possibility, you know, Brandon, that they might even attach a lineman. A Kelly, you know what I'm saying? Right. I don't necessarily think Quentin Nelson. I don't think Chicago wants to absorb that $20 million per year contract. It's not around the realm of imagination, especially with the coaching ties that they have. You know what I'm saying? With that head coach of Chicago, you know what I'm saying? He's familiar with the staff that we have here.
Right.
They need offensive line improvement. People think with the naked eye, they think our offensive line stinks. I think the offensive line has regressed, but Brandon, quarterback play has tremendously regressed, faster than the offensive line has. So there's definitely going to be some tinkering. You're right to point that out. Chicago has a lot of leverage. I think also even Detroit does too. They'll be picking, even though they're flirting with the playoffs, they'll be picking with the Rams pick. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of hope with a lot of those teams in the North. You know what I'm saying? As far as like what's it going to look like, you know what I'm saying, next year. But I don't know why. Again, I'm not saying let's kick Jonathan Taylor or any other coach out of here. You know what I'm saying, for that matter. But you know, like, what you're gonna have you're trying to get a super young quarterback. You got to give up something to get something. You know what I'm saying? Jonathan Taylor is ascending. And you know what I'm saying, and then you got to think about it. They either got to extending or pay him a max deal in like 2 years, like a year and a half. No, not next year. Next year he's looking at extension, and I think after that he's looking at the big money. So I don't know. You got to get in front of it before you can get behind it. And like I said, they need a quarterback, and the red trade route is not something that anybody in the Circle City wants to hear.
Yeah, I think. You're like the 3rd person I've heard talk about a Ryan Kelly possible trade. And I mean, Irsay says.
I bet you Ryan Kelly would look better. Even, I'm not saying it's going to happen. He would even look better in Pittsburgh.
Oh, hell yeah, he would.
They need, I'm not, and the offensive line has gotten a whole lot better in Pittsburgh, but I think it's because it's more scheme and not necessarily talent. I think Ryan Kelly just needs a fresh start.
Yeah. And it happens. There's plenty of people who probably use some offensive line help. So, I mean, there's always going to be availability for that. And the problem is Colts have a shit ton of money as well to spend, and they're not spending it. So, they've got several pieces. So, it's going to be, I would say, quiet, but it's going to be a very eventful January and February for Indianapolis going in as we get towards the NFL draft in April. Looking around at the games, John, Lions win 41-10 over the Bears. They're 8-8. The Lions have themselves set up now they need to beat the Packers in Lambeau Sunday night, and then hope Seattle loses their game against the Rams for them to get in. So, but here we go again. What did I tell you by 3 weeks ago? Aaron Rodgers' schedule is set up perfectly for them to get in the playoffs, win, and they're in. They smashed the Vikings 41-17.
Yeah, I know it's real surprising, man. I think when we did our preseason, where we kind of saw, we saw both these teams not necessarily with the records that they had. Definitely not the fact that everybody thought the Packers was going to sweep. I did. I'm gonna say everybody, me. I thought the Packers would sweep the NFC North, and I said that Detroit would at least win 6 games. Well, you know what I'm saying? Not necessarily proving me a liar. The Packers have struggled, but have come on towards the end here, like the last 4 weeks or so. And Detroit has kind of, been a little bit up and down. Brandon, they're probably gonna wish that they could probably play week 1 through 4 back, because they had some scratch their head losses. We're still trying to figure out, trying to shake off off-season rust or whatever, man. But here they are that game got flexed, I do believe.
Yes,
it was a 1 p.m. game. It got flexed to prime time. So the NFL is expecting. Hey, I'm not saying this is gonna be fireworks, because it could be a total dud, and Detroit Lions don't show up. But the NFL is expecting a very competitive game, man. So we shall see.
Yeah, they are. We'll see what happens with that. Jaguars beat the Texans 31-3. Titans lost. They didn't play anybody against the Cowboys. So it sets up a Saturday night Jaguars-Titans. Winner wins the AFC South and goes to the playoffs. I thought it was weird. I mean, it makes sense for the Titans to sit there and bench everybody there. But, I mean, who's your quarterback, right? I mean, it's not Tannehill. Malik Willis is hurt. I forget who the hell they just played on Thursday night. It was Josh Dobbs, former Steeler. I mean, he was okay, 20 of 39 for 232. But is that who you're really going to count on? In this game, I believe it's in Jacksonville. Let me see. It is in Jacksonville. I'm going to take the Jags. I think the Jags win this game. Give me Doug Peterson versus Vrabel. Peterson in a 1-game playoff with this? Give it to me.
Yeah, and they got better quarterback play, and they've got inspired a football team right now, man. Again, they're still wet behind the ears. Very immature football team. They also have shown some inconsistency sometimes moving the football, but very hot right now. You got to give me, you know what I'm saying? In sports, you got to go with the hot hand, man. They got a lot of mojo. It's driving the people around here in Indianapolis crazy, man, because 2 years ago, man, 2 years ago, there's no way nobody from the Colts organization, you know what I'm saying, would have thought that Jacksonville Jaguars would be in this position to win the AFC Championship. And how many years have the Colts removed from winning the AFC Championship? A championship today used to own, you know what I'm saying, through the Andrew Luck years and the Peyton Manning years. So, man, I don't know, man. It's definitely a change in other times, Brandon. Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, they're here now.
Yep, they definitely are. Patriots beat the Dolphins. Dolphins no Tua. Tua out. Man, John, what? He's done, right? He's got to be done. You can't trust it.
Well, not you done. You talking about done for the season? Yeah. So the talent says we have to still look at it and see. You know what I mean? He's still in the contract. I do believe at least probably 2 more seasons. I think. I could be wrong. You have to double check me on that one. But Brandon, you talk about in the prior segment what Chicago is going to be dangling their draft pick. But damn it, I don't even think Miami can get involved in that because they don't even have a bad pick because they lost one on the Stephen Ross controversy crap. So I don't know, man. They need a quarterback, right? And they need because they have all the other pieces. You know what I'm saying? Wide out, running back, and defense, right? They have all those pieces, but they need quarterback. But you're right. There's going to be some probably off-season transition where they surprisingly, you know what I'm saying, are supporting Tua Tagovailoa. You know what I'm saying, comeback efforts to get his body right, make sure you know what I'm saying that he's not, you know what I'm saying, having any issues with concussions. You know what I'm saying, and also they got to figure out, like, you know what I'm saying, he's got to speed up his time so that he's not constantly getting hit. You know what I'm saying, or like understand, like, dude, you gotta throw it away and play for another day. You know what I'm saying? So, but like I said, what I'm trying to get to, like, Brandon, they gotta also, if they got a third round pick or whatever, fourth round, they gotta address a potential backup to the point where that potential backup is good enough to, like, you gotta assume, basically I'm saying, that you're gonna lose Tua Tagovailoa at some point. If you know what I'm saying, because like he just has a history of often injury, unfortunately.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Patriots playing for that final playoff spot. It's
Do you trust them? And Mac Jones, they gotta get rid of Brandon. They gotta get rid of Joe Judge. They gotta get or Bill Belichick in his mind was just retire, and we know that ain't happening. But Mac Jones was totally different than what he looked like last
I
week.
don't trust them.
And well, yeah, I don't trust them as far as like winning. So like, wait a minute, who's Pittsburgh got to play the last game of the season?
Cleveland. At Pittsburgh.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought at Pittsburgh. So okay, that should be a winnable game for Pittsburgh. I thought it was New England.
No.
Who's New England play their last
New
game?
England plays at Buffalo. And the Jets play at Miami. So I can easily see the Jets beating a non-Tua Dolphins, the Bills needing to win to get home field over the Patriots, and then the Steelers win the Browns. And guess what? Steelers have another winning season. They continue the streak, and they're going to be the freaking 7th seed. And we're going to get waxed by whoever.
Probably, man, because they don't have enough offense
right.
to keep up with anybody. But listen, every analyst, except the two everybody's listening to right now, every analyst that's about anything said Pittsburgh was a 3, max 4-win team. And I mean, again, man, nobody, you don't win the Super Bowl by going, you know what I'm saying, one game over 500. You know what I'm saying? But what would the coach would, you know what I'm saying, slit somebody's wrist. And I know that's terrible, but yeah, it's internet radio, so we can say whatever, right? But the coach would do whatever to be in the position that the Pittsburgh Steelers are in.
Right. I just think it's crazy. I'm looking at it. Steelers are 8-8. They had a hell of a comeback win with Kenny Pickett. Another late drive, pass to Najee for the win in Baltimore. 8-8. We started 2-6, and we've won 6 of our last 8 games to pull where we're at now against Cleveland at home. Possible playoffs. It's a 1:00 game. All 3 games are at 1:00, so there'll be some scoreboard watching, I'm sure, in that game. But I mean, if we make it, I kind of want to see the streak. I don't want to see us get crushed like we did last year, as expected, against the Chiefs in the playoffs. You know, it was Ben's last game. It was good to see Ben get one last playoff game, even though they just got hammered, which this team's going to get hammered again if they get the playoffs, because we didn't plan for it, John. I said 6-7 wins this year.
Right.
You know, I think what's your take so far? Because that's 3 running drives now by Kenny Pickett. What's your thoughts on Pickett's play so far? I'm curious to know.
Yeah. So again, man, any scout, either like, what was the point of his saying he had small hands? Does that mean that he couldn't throw? So like everybody saw the you should have, the production at Pitt. The last 2 seasons, the production at Pitt was off the chart. It's just it was just Pitt. No, Pitt is not to a bunch of football nerds like me and you, college football nerds. Yeah, Pitt is on our radar. But to everybody else, Pitt is like, Pitt ain't gonna be nobody. You know what I mean? But Pitt, like they turn out players in the league. He's one of them. Hamlin's another. I mean, you know, they got football players right there. So, like, man, I just thought that he would go a little bit higher in the draft, and they were saying that there's no way that he's got small hands and you know he's not gonna be able to process the speed of the NFL, and that hasn't been the case. That hasn't been the case. So I'm not saying he's Peyton Manning level talent. He's definitely also not trash either. Trubisky. I know everybody saying how hard is it to beat out Trubisky. Trubisky has won some games in between Chicago and Pittsburgh. Mr. Trubisky has won games, and he won games at the Pittsburgh Steelers. So no, man, I would grade. You know what I'm saying, Pickett. You know what I'm saying, very high. Well, not very high because there's a high level of turnovers too on his resume, but that's because he's a rookie and you know what I'm saying, dealing with rookie struggles, man. So if we had to put a grade on it, realistically, we're probably looking at a B-, quite honestly. Just because of the high level, like, man, the turnovers have got to, but he's mobile, he can move in the pocket. And mobile, and I'm not saying he's gonna break away for a 40-yarder, but if you don't corral him, you know what I'm saying, he might be able to get 10, 15 on you. And he can, like I said, he can throw it down down the field. Just to, you know what I'm saying, the accuracy, you know what I'm saying, it's going to kind of, you know, be the question for him going further. But like, nah, man, great. You know what I'm saying? I like what anybody, you got like to see how to pick it. B- though. If you had to put a grade on it.
Okay. So right now it's New England, Miami, Pittsburgh, and the Jets all battling for that final spot. Pittsburgh, Miami, and New England are all tied. For Pittsburgh to get in, like I said, they need New England to lose to Buffalo. They need the Dolphins to lose to the Jets, and Pittsburgh needs to beat the Browns. And they're in as a 7. They would then play, as of right now, currently they would play Buffalo because of the way the standings are right now. So looking at the NFC, John, my question to you is, can we really trust Philadelphia? Even with a Jalen Hurts going to be returning, I see chinks in that armor. I see different chinks in that armor for Philly that they look very, very vulnerable. And it's gotta make Philly fans very, very nervous going into the playoffs. They're not. You want to go rolling into the playoffs. Looks like they're kind of backing in.
Right. A little concerning because I thought it was just going to be a 1-game thing, and now it's a 2-game thing. Even if it's like an observational 2-game thing, like is it that serious that you know what I'm saying, you would really risk getting overtaken position? You know what I mean? Everybody wants home field. Home field is important. Let's not pretend like home field is not important to a team that's trying to win a championship, right? So they have a little. I mean, Gardner. There's a lot of. You said he was fraud. You said the mania is fraud, man. But like, man, no, there's a lot of bad.
Spot me the lie. Spot me the lie.
So there's a lot, right. There's a lot of bad tape on Gardner Minshew. So his first start this year, it didn't look terrible. I was highly critical of the interceptions. You know, saying him throwing. I'm like, dude, wait a minute, hold on, dude. You know you're trying to win a game, right? Why are you throwing it to the other team? But like everything just kind of stalled this past weekend, and I see why you would say that. I think it's only concerning to me, Brandon. I think if he's 100%, I'm gonna say 98%. I'm talking about the quarterback starter. If he's 98%, I mean, I got him still tracking to be MVP. You know what I'm saying? And I know future Hall of Famer Patty Mahomes, everybody's gonna say, like, dude, they barely. It's crazy, Brandon. They barely win games, and I get it, they win games, but it's like real close to the games where somebody they should have blew out. So I think if he can get back out there, they're back to, like, you know what I'm saying, to being an elite team. Even them, they were still big teams when he was quarterback. It was real close. You know what I'm saying? If anybody remembers when Philadelphia rolled up into Indianapolis, how close that game was, and he had to use some special specialists to win, and you know what I'm saying, get that touchdown. Why Jeff Saturday didn't put a man on, you know what I'm saying, the guy who's having an MVP level season, man, I don't know, but again, man, I think they're fine, Brandon. But his level of health on that shoulder is concerning.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like I said, for Detroit to get in, they need to beat Green Bay and have Seattle lose to the Rams. For Green Bay to get in, they just need to win. Win and you're in. You leapfrog Seattle. So regardless if Seattle wins or loses, just some special things in the water. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Aaron Rodgers and his
real special.
Yeah, you think?
Special.
News and notes from around the league, John. Broncos and Panthers have both reached out to Jim Harbaugh to engage interest in a head coaching position.
Of course.
And I haven't seen anything on Indianapolis besides what Indy people have said, but Irsay keeping kind of close to the vest with it. But what's your thoughts with the Harbaugh thing? I'll tell you this now, because I said it beforehand. He wasn't leaving. With them, the fact they lost, I think it opens the door now.
Okay.
Even though
I think
he's got a young quarterback for next year as well, but
yeah, I think you should stick with your gut reaction, man. With your initial gut, your thought process, man. I think he stays in Michigan. This is all again what Jim Harbaugh likes to do. He likes to be courted. He likes to be, you know, taken to a Ruth Chris or whatever. You know what I mean? And told that, hey man, we want you to come over, and like Jim Harbaugh and Jim Irsay, I don't think will work. I don't think it would work. Big personalities is not necessarily what Jim Irsay is about. Not from his coaches. He just wants. I hear somebody say, well, he got a spokesman right now in Jeff Saturday. Well, that's because the season was getting ready was spiraling into crap, and he wanted to put a show out here. That's what he did. You know what I'm saying? I can't see Jim Harbaugh and Jim Irsay coexisting. And Chris Ballard, because with Chris Ballard, is he down with that? If he thumbs up with that, I don't know. Who's Chris Ballard going to hire? You know what I'm saying? Is Chris Ballard going to be a lot of questions, lot of questions. So I don't really see Jim Harbaugh here. Jim Harbaugh. So let's look at that. Take away that part of it. Look at it like this, Brandon. Jim Harbaugh will be coming to coach to what quarterback? At least you can say, and I know it's a hot mess for them. At least you can say if it's Denver, it's Russell Wilson. You have something to work with. You know what I'm saying? If it's who else is Carolina? Damn, Brandon. Carolina won games with the freaking backup, and told Baker Mayfield to go to hell.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? They were that close. And closing out. They couldn't, you know what I'm saying? But there's still some quality pieces. My point is in Carolina. People are like we overlooking it, but they were winning games. They went on like a little scary streak where they were actually them and Tampa Bay were tied in the division. So now Tampa Bay won the game this weekend, but so they're no longer a tie. But yeah, Jim Harbaugh. And I get it. There's no quarterback. So, like, what is the Carolina is not much disarray as there is with the Colts. Front office disarray. If he would be, you know, consider Carolina. So, I think obviously he's probably gonna talk to both of them, man. He's probably got a number in his head. They probably got a number. If their numbers don't match, you know what I'm saying, or anywhere close, you know what I'm saying, there'll be a big media thing. He'll real commit to media. He'll real commit, you know what I'm saying, to Michigan. All that, but realistically, man, I think he just, and then even Michigan might dump him up like $1.5 million or something. Just because they made it, like, dude, you made it to back to back. I get it that you lost, and that hurt, dude. It has to hurt losing to TCU because everybody said. Listen to what I'm saying. What we've been saying on this show the last year and a half. The Big 12, everybody's bailing out on the Big 12. Well, everybody who's not smart, Texas and Oklahoma bailing out. Prime is coming. And that's gonna be a whole nother media blitz when Prime gets to the Big 12. But you know, he's still gonna be favored to get to the. Are they not, Brandon? Michigan will still be favored next year to get to the CFP. They will.
Yeah.
So get you a little bit of another raise from Michigan. They got the money. And
It'd be your third straight time
like,
to the CFP.
Well, he'll flirt again. You know what? He'll flirt again with another team next year if he don't win. But I think you should stick to your initial. Like, yeah, man. I don't think he's coming to the NFL. I think he's fine staying at Michigan.
Okay. Let's dive in. Let's do NBA, John. Indiana Pacers won 6 of their last 7. Pacers are talking a contract extension with Miles Turner, possibly. This team's playing well together. Tyrese Halliburton is playing like a man possessed. Aaron Nesmith playing like a man possessed. Buddy Hield shooting the lights out.
Mm-hmm. Rookie of the year.
Man, this squad is, and Ben Matherin, yeah, of course. No, can't forget about Ben. But
surprises. Yeah.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, they had 24, almost 24 win. I mean, the over/under on Vegas was 24. I put $20 on it, so I'm about to win that bet here in like 3 games.
Is it possible the Pacers actually want to trade in the Malcolm Brogdon trade? Don't you like Aaron Nesmith? Don't you like this? What? Don't you like Aaron Nesmith to hang around? Like, he's real athletic, dude.
I do, but I want to see how he does. He's going to have spurts, you feel like, right?
They shouldn't fall in love. Now, listen, they're not going to necessarily fall in love with him like they remember how they fell in love with Solomon?
Yes.
Remember? He got overpaid. Like, whoa, man, Solomon. Oh, my goodness. What the hell? But, like, man, Aaron Nesmith is a Nesmith. I can't about to say Nesmith. Nesmith is a high-energy player that can play both 4 positions, man. I like him. Miles Turner. Man, Brandon, I don't know, Brandon. I don't know about extending him, man. Like, what would the year comfortably? Let's just talk turkey, Brandon. Comfortably, what would you want the year to be? Don't worry about the yearly. So this yearly payout is gonna be between $19 and $25 million. Everybody, listen. That's what he's gonna get. Command on the market. But the years, what would you be comfortable with? I would say $75 million, 3 years. $75 million. Because they gotta pay everybody. They gotta pay those youngsters, dude. And those contracts are gonna come up. They gotta play the point guard, and they got a rookie of the year. I get it. Miles is like the elder statesman around here. You can't overpay him to stay here just because he likes being here. They can't give him $30 million a year and then lose out and have one of those young free agents walk out on it. You see what I'm saying? So what would be the yearly terms? Like, what, NBA contracts, 3, 4, 7. How many years they locking into Miles Turner?
3.
Big side, right? Right, 3 years. But you know what? His agent's gonna say, okay, 3 years, $100 million. What do you think about that? That's $33 million, Brandon. For Miles Turner? Are you crazy? $33 million?
Maybe we sign him to that big contract, but with a handshake deal in the offseason that we'll trade him with that contract to another squad.
There's all kind of, so I don't know about that one. There's all kind of handshakes.
Well, here, are you comfortable? Here's my thing. I almost think we're pigeonholed that we have to sign him for a larger deal because let's look at it. Isaiah Jackson, he hasn't panned out. What's he doing? He's playing the G League tonight. Goga Batazzi, what's he doing? He hasn't seen the floor since I can't remember when. Right before Halloween?
Yeah. They play small. See, the Pacers went back small, and hell, now even Jalen Smith is playing center, which he said he didn't want to play. But like, dude, you can't fool with winning. So if you winning and they rotating him and Miles out at center, like you have to roll with that, So I don't trip on Miles Turner being around Brandon anymore. The years of his contract is going to be concerning because, again, like I said, you got to play those young guys. Those guys, you got to find some retention. They found those are retention players. Ben Mather, retention player, Nimhard. I mean, not Max, but I'm saying retention. Like you gotta have these. And they finally panned out for you. Brissett panned out for you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Let me ask you this, John. How lucky is Miles Turner the fact that tonight's game he doesn't have to play against Joel Embiid? How lucky?
Man, it's always like Joel. His season average, no, his career average starts at 30 and 15 when he faces the Pacers.
Absolutely.
And usually it's usually, hey man, it's been a little bit of Sabonis too. When he was
I've got the
too.
stats here. He averages 28
You got it
points.
broken down?
Oh yeah. You go to statmuse.com. You can look it up head to head. Joel Embiid averages 28 points, 12.6 rebounds, and 3 assists in his 11 games in his career versus Miles Turner. He's had the breakdown of points is 25, 18, 24, 29, 20. He fouled out in that one. 40, 22, 33, 32, 41, 24. The 41 was on August 1st. He had 41 points, 21 rebounds against Miles Turner.
Right. The problem is, it's not that we know Joel to build up these monster numbers. It's that Miles usually doesn't show up.
Now, do you want the Miles Turner stats?
Yes, we want the Miles Turner stats.
In his 11 games against Joel Embiid, he's averaging 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1 block.
Well, he got 1 block. That's good.
His points are 5, 11, 0, 25, 7, 8, 8, 6, 3, 9, 11. I don't know if I want to give a contract to somebody. If these two teams are beating the playoffs, what are we going to get out of Miles?
Right. What you going to get out of Miles? Exactly.
He's not showing that
so
he can go out there and do that. He can't even show he can score 12 points a game. He hit double figures 3 out of 11 games.
He has those great big games, man, against Charlotte.
John, he's fouled out 5 games of this 5 of the 11 games he's played against Joel Embiid. He's fouled out of. You can't.
You focus on the negative.
Well, I mean, it's obvious. Right?
Yes, I do. We know Miles' woes against Philadelphia, man. So maybe
let's talk about
kind of take some of that rust off.
Let's talk about who else is shelled out, man, against the Pacers. How about Paul George going for 45 and 9 on New Year's Eve against the Pacers? Took the loss, but Paul, let me tell you his stat. He's averaging 29 per game against the Pacers with 36, 31, 36, 36, 45.
He brings crossroad listen audience. Brandon Reef brings up Paul George because he secretly wants Paul George to come back to Indianapolis.
I'm slowly going to Paul's side. I listen. I was the biggest Paul George hater. I burnt all my jerseys. You remember that? Burnt the jerseys. Did the whole thing. Secretly, maybe Paul wasn't wrong, man. This dude can ball. He can ball. He just hasn't shown it in the playoffs as much, but
right.
And I got a question about that. Because I was watching some Clippers games. Are we starting to see the decline? Are we on the opposite side of the hill for Kawhi Leonard?
Yeah. Hey, man, you know what? Our sponsor, I was talking with our sponsor, Scott K. Nichols, State Farm Insurance, earlier today. He said, how come Kawhi Leonard doesn't, he didn't say it like this, but paraphrasing. He said, how come Kawhi Leonard doesn't get the criticism that Anthony Davis gets? Because he misses as much just as Anthony Davis, if not more. Why doesn't there, I mean, probably, and I answered like, I said, Scott, because Anthony Davis plays for the Lakers and it's the Clippers and nobody really gives a damn.
Oh!
But no, man, truth be told, man, like, that has to be frustrating from a general manager standpoint. How you go back and talk to your owner that we're paying this guy $35 million plus per year to basically be an assistant coach that plays around with us every now and then. You can't win like that. Him and Paul George had to play like they have. I don't even think they played 20 games together in 2 years. You know what I'm saying? With the full team. I'm talking about with the full team. You know what I mean? They can't win. If the goal is for them to win a championship, they got big payroll out there in LA because they're trying to win a championship and compete with the Lakers, keep up with the Lakers, too, right? How can you do that when the biggest piece of your puzzle is out there? He's an assistant coach. Has to be frustrating.
I just saw Kawhi play, and I'm just like, man, this ain't the Kawhi that. And I know he's coming off the bench right now on certain minutes restrictions or whatnot, but he doesn't do anything flashy anymore. And it's not the Kawhi that we thought we would,
San Antonio was right.
I mean, this year he's averaging.
San Antonio was like, man.
He's averaging 17 a game still, but he's only playing 28 minutes. So that's kind of impressive.
Right.
But, I guess he wasn't really that much of a – he was a big scorer, but in his career he's only averaging 19 too. He's 31 years old. So you got to think, maybe 4 more years for Kawhi left?
At what kind of level?
Exactly.
You're talking about period.
Yeah.
You're talking about period.
Yeah. Before the injury, he was averaging 26, 27, 24. He didn't play in 21, 22, and this year he's only played 16 games so far, and he's at 17.
I got to see that contract. One, nobody, unless he's like in his last year of his deal, nobody's going to trade for that.
You want the contract?
You can't.
40.
You could go with,
$42 million this year, 45 next year, and it goes to 48 with a player option in the third year.
Ooh, man, bad news, America. They stuck with Kawhi Leonard. There's no way he's not. Like, you remember how John Wall kind of just laid around and danced around in between Houston and didn't play? And, you know what I'm saying, like it was for like 3 seasons and banked like $40 million every season. This is what Kawhi Leonard's getting ready to do. They're stuck with that contract. There's no way nobody's going to trade for that. You can't trade for that.
You don't think the Knicks would do it on that final year?
No. The Knicks, Knicks, hey, man, no. Even like just to bring in like a name, maybe like final year, yeah, but like the Clippers gonna be trying to shop that contract 2 years, like when he's got like 2 years left.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Kawhi Leonard here. Hey, Kawhi Leonard can potentially help you get over the hump if you a team that needs like a small forward that can shoot and play the good defense, but you can only play him like 15 minutes for 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Here's nobody's gonna do that. Nobody's gonna do that. So, man, nah, man. We're definitely watching the decline of Kawhi Leonard for sure.
Well, opposite of the decline, we've got the incline. Luka Doncic has scored 50 points for the third time in his past 5 games. Luka's in his 5th year, John. Number one, Luka. First, I want your take on Luka and his scoring spree that he's doing, because I'll tell you this: my opinion is it's great, it's awesome to see, but it just shows that the man needs some help, because for them to get successful in the playoffs and for him to win a championship, they're going to need help. He's averaging 34 points a game this year, which means that it shows that he's not getting the help he needs out there. He's taking more shots, obviously, yada yada, but. And if he does win a title, John, how many years out are we from
I think that's constructed, though. I think that's constructed for him to take shots like that, man.
Okay, but you can't. He's not going to win a title with that. You can't.
Hey,
you can't.
That's for Jason Kidd to that's for Jason Kidd to figure out as the coach. So they know. I do know this, Brandon. They took a flyer on Kristaps Porzingis.
I know the Hawks are pissed.
Meaning he was going to be right. Well,
yeah, of course. I'd rather have Luka than Trae Young. I told you that to begin with on the draft night, that they made a mistake.
Would you rather have playoff wins or just playoff show up? Because one player has one and one player has the other.
Well, I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, the Western Conference Finals, Luka, and they were there last year.
They finally got through. No, right. I'm sorry. They finally got through, but it was like slim pickings, man, for a minute.
Right.
They needed. Could they stand to use another All-Star for sure?
Oh,
they,
for sure.
Like they still haven't found so can they? But they don't really have anything to like leverage to get that.
No,
not right now. You know what I'm saying? So unless they use Dallas as like, hey, destination, come here to play with him. He needs really though. So just the.
Do you trust Dinwiddie?
He
Do
needs
you
somebody.
trust Christian Wood?
No. Actually, no. To be a star, no. To be a great quality backup, yeah, baby. But no, Brandon, stop. You wanted the Pacers to get Dinwiddie when they were actually getting ready to trade him from Chicago. You wanted the Pacers to get Dinwiddie. Stop, man.
I'd rather have
You were
Hardaway.
about to go back to Spencer Dinwiddie played for the Nets.
Yep.
He played for the Nets before all that craziness and when Kevin Durant showed up. They probably should have kept him too. But like, nah, man, he's a great quality backup. That can play like starters minutes. But the point is, man. Anyway, go to the next subject, dude. I don't want to lament on that team, dude.
Are you ready to give an apology and say you're sorry?
I ain't apologize to anybody.
I think you need to because they're on a 12-game winning streak right now, quietly, that nobody's even saying a word about them. Brooklyn Nets, 25-12. Kyrie, Durant, they've won 12 straight now.
What you always think, you telling me, I'll acknowledge it. Like Roman Reigns.
Yeah, acknowledge him.
It, man. Well, listen, we must forget, Kevin Durant's under contract, right?
Bro, they beat the Warriors by 30.
Kyrie Irving is playing for free agency summer. He has to play. He has to play well. Remember, I said this a couple weeks ago, Brandon. He has to play well. He can't go into his normal little. I mean, he can still have his little quirkiness, but he can't go into where his quirkiness is stopping him from showing his level of play.
Right.
Last night, like night before last, he had a daggone against San Antonio, man. He dunked the ball. He had a daggone tip dunk. Came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, they couldn't block out Kyrie Irving. It was incredible. But like this is what he's doing, Brandon. He's playing focused basketball. Will the Brooklyn Nets try to bring him back? Hell no. They ain't gonna bring him back. They know better.
I don't know.
That's not coming back. He's a hot. Remember, this is all smoke and mirrors. I'm sorry, I'm shouting, Brandon. This is all smoke and mirrors.
Oh,
that dude is a hot mess. That is a hot mess, ready to happen.
Trust me, I love the basketball player. I hate the person.
Oh man,
I'm gonna give him his props, John, because for January or December, the man averaged 51% from the field, 42% from three-pointer, and averaged 29 points a game in the month of December. Every game he played, he shot over 50%, except for 3 games, excuse me. The rest of them was over 50%. 91% from the free throw line. The dude can ball. He's helped them. I know this might rub somebody the wrong way. He shut his mouth. He's played basketball. And, I mean, they've won what? They only lost 1 game in December. They've won 12 in a row. They just beat the brakes off the Spurs. They're getting ready to play the Bulls. They're looking great.
Don't act like that. Don't act like that's Tony Parker Spurs, though, dude.
Yeah.
Don't act like that.
All right, we got a call. We got our guy here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, bring him on in, man.
We got our guy, Tanner Penrod. What's going on, T?
What's going on driving to this Butler game? I hear you talking about that son of a gun, Kyrie. The problem is he went to Duke. That's why he's a jackass.
Oh, wow. Coming in with those hot takes.
I listen to you. Go. That dude might score 29 points. How many assists is that son of a gun passing out, or is he just hogging the rock?
5.5 per game.
How many turnovers?
2.5.
You gotta acknowledge him. He's playing well. He's playing good.
Like Jonathan said, you got to acknowledge him like Roman Reigns. So,
he is playing better.
Yeah. Boys. Pick'em was kind of rough if I do say so myself, for Tanner.
Yeah, I got madder than hell. I just was on every bad beat there could be out there, son.
1-8, John. The final 8 in the final 9 games. Tanner went 1-8. His only win was the back door that we got with Mississippi State over Illinois.
What? Was the Notre Dame game past that and after that?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was in the following week. So, do you really want to talk about your Boilermaker pick? Because I feel like you kind of doomed him when you picked him.
No,
that's unfair.
I'm glad too. I'm glad that was me just throwing some love to him, and then they got. Well, I just loved it because then I threw it on them, and then they took a double dog walk that day, and then they got beat by Rutgers in hoops. That felt good. Said, well, I'll pick you today. This is your death wish.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna get beat in football, and then basketball they got beat.
Yeah,
so it actually worked out. I don't care. I'll take the L.
Listen, we all got hurt with Cam Rising getting hurt in that Rose Bowl game. Penn State looked great.
Oh.
Funny thing is, I actually put money on Penn State to win that game. There's a few games I picked here that I put money the other way around.
No, I'll do that too.
But yeah, Penn State just rolled. They looked great. No Cam Rising, so that doomed us. Tulane with the
You
comeback
guys got
win.
What a back. That's the biggest Bush League back door I've ever seen in that thing.
I loved it.
Tulane is still celebrating.
Hey.
That was a big game. That was a program achievement for them. That was like a for real Super Bowl moment for them beating USC.
Yeah.
Not to change subjects, we were talking about Duke for a second. I left earlier and Duke was getting beat 13-0 the last time I looked at the basketball score.
Against NC State?
Yeah, I took NC State +5.
26-10 NC State right now. 6 minutes left in the first
Well,
half.
I think
Let's
on top of that,
let's go Wolfpack.
They're on the road. It's all right.
I think Miami's gonna win the ACC this year.
Oh, for sure. They're 13-1. They're losing right now.
Real good.
They're getting beat by 12 to Georgia Tech.
Pittsburgh. Oh, Miami's losing?
Yeah.
Not to get. I just love how the college basketball is going. I had my lock of the day yesterday was Fresno State +4.
Yeah.
And then they won.
They beat old
outright.
Patino's team. Yeah.
I didn't want to give you guys a bet. You guys go to bed a little bit earlier. I was going to fire at you guys at 10:30 or 11 and tell you I was on there, but I didn't tell you.
You should have sent it to me. I was ready to fire away. Live bullets.
What, Tanner? I know we're supposed to be talking college football, but let me ask you this, because since you're going to go see Butler, I have not been thoroughly impressed with this Thad Matta come back. I mean, when is it? I mean, when's the signature win? Yeah, they beat Georgetown. But even
no, that's not signature at all. No, everybody's supposed to be dead.
Yeah,
even I think it's gonna take them a year or two to get it flipped around. Fortunate enough, I'm lucky to have people have season tickets, so I'm not paying to go to these games. So I just get a ride down, and then so I get in here. The atmosphere is always good. I love going to Hinkle Fieldhouse. I think it's one of the coolest basketball spots. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So
we just went there.
Yeah. It's one of the main reasons. And it's always full in there, no matter. Typically, it's always full. So, I mean, you get a good crowd. I'm going to say, if Villanova goes to Butler this year and they could knock them off, I mean, I know they're not super good. I mean, Creighton already, I think, went there. I don't know if they get Creighton, or I think Creighton already might have went there and that smoked them too. So, yeah, they're going to need to beat like Villanova. I think of Villanova, if they went there, would be a good win for
Seton Hall. Would be a good
win.
Seton Hall, just because Seton Hall with the coach moving over there, the new, you know what I'm saying, who's moving over there. But I don't know, man. I'm not super mass critical of Thad Matta. I think people just thought with that coming back, it was going to be like Brad Stevens kind of coming back, since that's like family tree for them.
Right. I think they had him. I think Mr. Jordan had him. I don't think he can take him to I was hoping the fan base wouldn't think that they were just going to go instantly back to the tournament in 1 year. I think this is going to be a little process. I think Brad might coach them for about 5 years maybe, and he should get them back rolling. And I'd say by year 3, they should be back in the top 25, I would say, by then. But I don't think he's the long term. I think he's there to rebuild that program back up and then someone to take it out from underneath him. I don't think he's going to be almost, I don't want to compare to the Mike Woodson thing, but I think he's kind of like that for Butler. Hey, I'm going to get him back up on their feet and then someone's going to take it out of my hands.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Little bit. All right, Brandon. Get us back on board, man.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'll tell you this. While we're talking about it, Tanner, just because the football season's over, man, you have an open standing to join every show that you want.
All right. I'll call in if I see a game on Wednesday. I know that sometimes that Duke Carolina always that first one's on a Wednesday. Maybe we'll get it. If there's some big games coming up, I see in the college basketball slate whether I'll call it.
I got no problem every other week that we have a show that you call in and we talk college basketball every other week. I don't mind. We can banter and all that.
I'm good with that.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
I just thought, man, we don't need to have this because people. I tell you this, I have a little algorithm that shows me, and it shows the highs and lows of these shows. And I ain't gonna lie, man. When we got your segment on, and we're sitting here going back and forth with our trash talk and banter and stuff, the ratings go up for it. So we got to give the people what they want. Okay. And if it's more, Twitter username TNuts23, then we got to give it.
Yeah.
So.
I don't mind calling in once talking for 20 minutes or so. That I can do that. Okay. I'm good with that.
All right, boys. So Crossroads Pick'em, the regular season. I took the crown for the regular season. The bowl season, I'm at 21-20-1, so I'm one game over 500. Jonathan, 15-26-1. Tanner, 17-24-1 with one game left.
I blame that.
So it looks like I'm going to win the bowl season as well, sweep it. And my goal is, boys, I'm happy. I'm at least going to be 500 for bowl season.
Yep, that's good.
So overall, combine the stats, I'm 84, 86-4. Jonathan 72, 98-4, and Tanner 78, 94-4. So the good news is nobody's going to have 100 losses. Jonathan, you could have 99, but nobody's going to have 100 losses.
No.
So
I'm gonna bring it back home, college basketball. But go ahead.
Oh, okay. So gentlemen, it comes down to the last game. College football right now. TCU versus Georgia Monday night. The current line is Georgia minus 12.5. Over under is 63. So, John, I'll let you start us, my guy.
Man, TCU is not surprising Georgia. TCU surprised the hell out of Michigan. TCU, I loved it. Like, I don't know about y'all, about this stat, but Texas has not went to the CFP. Texas A&M has not went to the CFP. These are two big-time football programs in the state of Texas that money just, like, flows. Like, the Texas running back got a daggone NIL deal with Lamborghini. Can you imagine? What's he going to the NFL for? Like that's damn near almost gonna be a downgrade. But like the money that flows and the players that they have going to those, and like how does TCU get here with a quarterback that was benched at the start of the season, and because of injury, here we are. Max Duggan got invited to go to New York City and could have been, an interception here or there. Could have probably got it over statistically over the eventual winner of the quarterback from USC. But again, y'all see what Max Duggan can do. You know what I'm saying? He puts teams on his back. I get it. The NFL ain't calling for his name right now, whatever. But like from a college football standpoint, man, that dude's a superstar. And TCU has other stars on their team, but they're not gonna sneak up on Georgia. Here's what kind of surprised me, and hopefully, man, you can pitch back. I'm saying Georgia's gonna win the game, but here's what surprised me, man. And it humbled me. That's kind of hard to do. And you know what I'm saying, in these shoes anyway. People said it, I didn't believe it. Ohio State actually were able to throw on Georgia. They actually were able to move their offenses through the air on Georgia. I think TCU will be able to do that, but what Ohio State was able to do, they made Stetson Benson look like an average quarterback. I don't think TCU was able to do that. So I think TCU will be able to score. I just don't think their defense is good enough to make Stetson Benson, you know what I'm saying, to look like he's average, which is really, that's what he really is. You know what I'm saying? I think Georgia wins this game. Absolutely. But because like TCU, they'll show a little bit of flash, a little bit of spark. That's like I said, that team's got a lot of heart and a lot of character. And again, the coach, he didn't necessarily come here to lose, but again, he's rolling with a Packers. I would say he probably rolling with 3 kings. And in Georgia, they got, you know what I'm saying, they got 3 kings too, and an ace and a big joker. You know what I'm saying? They got everything that, you know what I'm saying, and plus. So TCU will be able to score. TCU will be able to, you know what I'm saying, find some holes in Georgia's, you know what I'm saying, defense. But ultimately they won't be able, he'll be constantly, somebody will be constantly in his face all night. Max Duggan. All night. Somebody be, you know what I'm saying, huddled, shadowed up with their second round receiver probably in the draft. All night. So give me Georgia. And those are the reasons why.
Okay. Tanner.
All right. From what I saw, I saw that Ohio State was able to expose that Georgia defense a little bit. TCU exposed that Michigan defense, and their defense stepped up, and they picked 6 that guy twice. House call heat. It just shows, I think, that TCU can score. What I was able to see is I didn't think TCU would be able to put up the points they did, but to hang 51 on that Michigan defense, I don't care if you take those 2 pick 6 away. They still hung 30-something on them. So with that, and with Georgia having to squeak one out, and with Mattress Mac laying $1.5 million on the Horned Frogs, probably to make the line jump to below 13, with really chaps my ass.
I agree.
I'm still picking the Horned Frogs. I'm riding with Mattress Mac. Give me the points. I like the Max Duggan. I think it's too many. They show me that they can play with the big dogs. I like the Horned Frogs.
Okay. Gentlemen, looking at this matchup, the line has moved. Like we've said, Tanner, it opened up at 13.5 3 days ago. It moved to 13 2 days ago, and as of right now, it's 12.5. I believe Mattress Mac moved that line from the 13. I wish I could have got it at 13 when it was there, but this Georgia defense, they're looking all right. I thought, they played against an Ohio State team. And here's the thing, LSU was still able to score on this Georgia defense and spread them out. TCU can spread them out too, just like Ohio State did as well. Georgia, though, going in, defending national champions in this game. Mm-hmm. I'm taking TCU plus the 12.5 myself. I like it. Give me the Horned Frogs plus the 12.5. I'm hoping they can cover. Maybe Georgia wins by 10, and we still cover by 2.5.
Yeah. That's what I'm with. I'm hoping someone lays a hammer on before we're done and maybe gets up to 13. I like that 13
I won't
number.
make my bet, Tanner, actually on the sports book until probably day of. I'm going to kind of see what movements we get.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on the over-under 64?
Same. Hey, man, go ahead. Oh, answer that question.
I'm going to go real quick. Sorry, Dr. Buck, but I'm going to go over. I think they're going to score.
Okay. I will say 8 of TCU's last 9 games against
64 is a lot. 64 is a lot. So, I mean, I didn't like that over in that Michigan game, and I was told wrong, but I like to go on that oppo theory. Since both games probably went over last time, this game probably does go under.
Right.
I'm just thinking it probably does go under. Because a 34-28 doesn't even get you there. So, I mean, or something like that. I mean, both teams got to be in the 30s, or one team got to get. So, I mean, under is probably my bet. I just take betting unders because that makes the game boring to watch because you're betting for no people to score.
Right.
But I think the under would be a safer play. If you had to play one of the two, I think that's the safer play of the two.
Okay. John, what were you saying?
No, man, I just want to know, man, what does that look like if TCU wins the national championship?
I'll tell you what, it looks the mattress back. It's $5.5 million in his pocket.
I mean, what's it do for college football?
So Texas Christian University wins the championship. Obviously that becomes, crazy town there, right? But what does that mean for the Big 12? 2 years ago, me and Brandon are having this big time debate, the Big 12 is going to dissolve. And now, the football, this is really like football karma, because now that the most high profile coach in America is headed there, right? And they're probably the best program, the most consistent program. One of the most consistent programs. TCU is always in the top 3 of the Big 12. It's now vying for a national championship. So, like I said, man, they got a lot of football karma going their way. You know what I'm saying? Because for everybody going to say, well, the SEC is getting ready to gobble up everybody, or the Big Ten is going to get ready to gobble up everybody.
I know. I feel like I'm with you. I could feel like it could be down to 2 or 3 big conferences in the next 20 years. I'm not kidding.
Well, what I'm saying, maybe somebody goes back to the Big 12.
Right. I see what you're saying.
Brandon,
Tulane.
You know what I'm talking about.
Tulane left the SEC. So, I mean, yeah. I can see, yeah. So, I mean,
John, you talked a lot of shit against the Big 12 back in the day.
No, I did not. I'm pro big. I'm pro keep it like how it is. Big Ten. That's crazy to me. UCLA. Are you Tanner? Are you ready to put any action on UCLA Rutgers? You ready to put action on Penn State, USC? That might draw some people though. That might draw some people, but that game ain't gonna be worth a quarter. You know what I'm saying? Not Penn State. I'm sorry, Northwestern. I'm sorry, Northwestern, USC. That might draw just because the people want to see it. That Northwestern has a big alumni, but. Nah, man. The action on those games are gonna be what? If you could, you know what I'm saying? What would you think? Who could? Nobody's gonna care.
Yeah, degenerates are the ones that are people that are chasing money are gonna be betting those games.
Right, Tanner. Really? I got I do have a bet for you, a prop bet. I like that I'm looking at.
Okay.
Max Duggan over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Currently, it's at plus 105.
It is?
Yeah, they're saying Vegas is saying he's not going to have 2 passing touchdowns. I easily can. The way this team passes, I can easily see them even getting 2.
Right.
He's going to run one. He's going to run one, buddy. I promise you.
Well, that's fine. I could too. He's, here, over 0.5 touchdown. For him to score a rushing touchdown, it's plus 125. So you're getting plus money for that too.
Right.
How about interceptions? What's your guys' thoughts on that? Because the odds are right now, Max is minus 225 to throw more than one. To throw one. And Stetson Bennett to throw one is minus 110. They're saying the odds are better he won't than he will. I think Stetson will.
If he throws the interception, Brandon, that's when TCU. I'm saying, well, you said TCU's gonna win. That's what Ohio State was able to do. They made Stetson Benson look like he should have been going to Eastern.
And I did talk shit about him. I texted you that night, talk shit, saying that he was choking and it was too big of a game for him, and he's not that quarterback. But he still might.
The second quarter was second half.
Do you trust him? Would you want him as your? He's not a pro level quarterback.
But he's got a pro level tight end, and that's all that matters. You know what I'm saying? He finds that dude every time. Every time they need a critical third down.
First half line is Georgia -7. First half.
First half, okay.
Over under is 31.5. For first quarter, it's Georgia -3. First quarter. I kind of sneaky like TCU plus the 3. First quarter.
Right.
Over under is 13.5. I think that's an easy over. I think there's at least 2 touchdowns scored first quarter.
You want Georgia to choke.
No.
I think you're gonna. Don't get me wrong. I think you're going to sweat it out. That second touchdown may not come till about 45 seconds left in the first quarter, but
right.
If D-Cott is hearing this, D-Cott is listening to this, man. Brandon Reef wants Georgia to choke.
I don't want.
That's I sweated out that. I think the over in that LSU Purdue game because they didn't get that second one in that first quarter until real late.
Yeah.
And it was like over 12.5. Yeah, I think they got it real late in that game. To be honest with
passing yards, Max Duggan over 235, and Bennett's is over 275. I like Bennett's to be under 275, honestly.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking at it. That LSU guy got it. He got it with 1:06 left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was sweating that over. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Hey, before we let you go, Tanner, what's our thoughts on the Niners? How are we going to do going into the playoffs? You're plus 600 to win Super Bowl.
I know. The problem is I don't know what that coach is going to do. I think Debo comes back this week. I think that, they're going to play him because they have a slim chance. I don't think they'll move up to the number 1 because the Giants are playing the Eagles and they're locked into the number 6 spot, so they're probably not playing anybody. So, Niners are playing for a 2 spot, which I really hate because if the Packers get in there, that's who they're going to have to play. And I went to the game last year. They're going to have revenge on their mind, and it's going to be a steamer, a sweaty sack wild card game for me, and I'm going to hate every bit of it. So I'm pulling for the Lions, because some reason it has Seattle in there right now. But even if Seattle wins,
the Packers get in.
And the Packers win, the Packers jump them. I'm like, I think it's. And I looked at they're both 4-2 in the conference. I think the Packers have a better overall conference record.
Yeah, I think it's
their division records would be.
I think it's conference, and then
because they both would have the same division. I think the Packers have a better conference because they both end up 4-2 in their division, and I think the Packers just have a better conference record overall in the NFC. So that's why I think they get the jump.
Another bet, Tanner, I like, and I'm not because it's my team, but. I honestly think you're going to get great value on it. Steelers to make the playoffs is plus 350.
Yeah, what's it at?
Plus 350.
350?
Yes. I'm smacking it.
Who do you need to lose?
So here's the deal. So Pittsburgh needs to win against Cleveland. Pittsburgh plays at home. Okay.
Yep.
They need Buffalo to beat New England at Buffalo.
Buffalo's got to win.
And they're
going to have a lot. They're going to play with a heavy heart, too, with what's going on. So
and the other one is the Jets have to beat a Tua-less Dolphins team in Miami. I think it can happen.
Yeah. The wheels. I do, too.
This is what happened last year for the Steelers. They backdoored their way in the playoffs in the final day, thanks to the Colts. But plus 350, are you kidding me? To 3-1?
I think that. Yeah, that's good. And with the wheels falling off in Miami, I don't think that's a bad play. The Jets have to go to Miami, or the?
Yeah. They go to Miami. I'm still not worried.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm smacking money. I'm putting 50 on it.
Yeah, I don't blame you on that.
It's great value, and Steelers could still piss the bed against a Cleveland team, but the way they've been playing lately, and it's a home game.
To get back to your Niners thing, the Niners don't draw. If the Niners don't draw the Packers, I think they can really do some damage in that playoffs.
Yeah. Last thing, I guess, real quick before we let you go. Hey, how about
if they get Seattle or the Lions, they're going to take care of them easily. And then I think they get the Vikings.
Right.
I'm good with that.
Are we ready to give some love, man? We got to give some love to our Ball State Cardinals. 10-4. Big Mac win last night against Toledo.
Yeah. Road win. Yeah, road win. They were 8.5-point dogs. Won that game.
Put 90 up.
Led at half and won. Yeah, 90. One guy had 26. One dude had 25. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coach Lou doing good things down there. Give him a couple of years. I think he'll get some Indiana talent to come there. Not like, he's not going to get no 5-star, but he's going to get maybe a guy that probably couldn't get into a school. Maybe that might be a good 3 or 4-star that he can get in there to play. Or that might just be a little homesick that doesn't want to leave far.
Yeah.
He'll get somebody like that.
What's your thoughts, John,
I think
on Ball State?
No, I'm all about it, man. They got a couple non-conference signature wins. It was that game with Indiana State got away from them, so that was like a loss. I thought they should have. They would like to play that game back over. But
Indiana State's good.
Yeah, Indiana State is good too. They beat Vermont this year. They played. Who else? That was another good game that I just had on the tip of my Evansville. Blew Evansville.
Yeah. Beat them by 19.
Yeah, beat Evansville so bad I had to find out who the coach was at Evansville. Like people were telling me, oh, by the way, the coach of Evansville is this guy. He sucks. I don't think, but like I that's not me. I'm saying what my timeline says, but like no, man, Ball State definitely heading in the right direction. You're right, Tim. He's probably gonna get a top-rated guy that what I'm saying, and they want to stay home, and then away they go. Right now, they got a good 4-man deep team. Gets a little sketchy on the bench. You know what I'm saying?
It's thin.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, man. I like Ball State to be MAC contenders. They're gonna probably find their stiffest competition against Buffalo and Northern Illinois this year.
No, I'll tell you when they're gonna get they're really gonna get tested.
I think
on January 20th they go at Kent State, and that's gonna be a real
Kent State's good too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Kent State's probably the favorite to win them, and they go on the road there in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
On a Friday night.
Well, they play on the 6th.
We'll see how they answer the bell.
Here on the 6th, they play Akron. Akron's 9-5, right behind them in 3rd place. So that'll be a good one as well. That's a home game at least.
Yeah.
The Kent State one's a big one.
Right.
That's a 6:30 start.
Yep.
So we'll see.
If he could just compete in that game, if he could compete in that game, I think that spread will probably be close to 10. Well, depends on what they do in between there. But I mean, hell, they were 8.5 against Toledo, and I mean Toledo they were 9-4, so I mean you got to think probably close to 10 there. I think if they keep it in single digits or even win I think that's I don't like to look at more, but at least they're competing. I think that Kent State's played a decent schedule. I think I looked at it earlier. Kent State's played some opponents.
Okay. All right, T.
We'll see what happens.
Give that Butler magic tonight in there, that Hinkle magic. They're going to need it. And we'll talk again. Let's do it next week. Let's recap. Let's
recap the game. Yeah. Let's recap that.
Sounds good. All right, T. Have a good one, buddy.
Fellas. You have a good one. All right, thanks, fellas. See ya.
All right, that's our guy, Tanner Penrod, as always. We got our boys on hold, John. We'll bring them on in order if they called in. What's going on, Reggie Sykes?
What's going on with you? You're going to lose every bet you place. First of all, I think you quietly is a Tide fan going against Georgia, talking about the quarterback, and he pulled his name out. be
Brandon,
okay.
this dude would not
TCU,
let the Tide fans alone.
point is Georgia
bullying
giving TCU.
I took
Brandon,
How
TCU.
many
you know what?
points?
Brandon, I don't want to cancel culture, the king of trolls.
Georgia
Uh-oh.
is going to be the national championships. Pittsburgh won't make the playoffs. And you talking, I mean,
By the way, Reggie, I went back and listened to what our episode back as the season started, and we had a bet, buddy, on who had a better record for the regular season, the Steelers or the Colts. A $20 bet. So, are you ready to pay up that $20? Because somebody had a better regular season record.
Yeah, I owe you on that one. But let's bet the 20 bet that the Steelers won't make the playoffs since you that high. Run it back.
All right, bet. Let's do it. Bet it. They'll make it.
So I'm going to 0. That's
Yes,
what's going to happen.
correct. Or you owe me 40.
But, yes, I know I'm not going to owe you 40 because they ain't going to make the playoffs. So I ain't
All right, Jonathan, you heard it.
You know,
It's hilarious.
What's going on, Reg? What's on your mind, brother?
before you bring that dummy on the phone, you know, he's been trolling Purdue. You know,
Oh,
talking
my
about
God,
how
at
LSU beat 'em
nauseum.
and everything.
At nauseum.
Talking
What is
about
Deacon?
either-
Why don't Deacon like the Indiana schools, man?
I don't know, man.
He don't like none of the Indiana schools. He don't have no love for Notre Dame, no love for Purdue, no love for Indiana.
No, he loves Indiana.
Except for-
He's all over Mike Woodson's. Well, I ain't gonna say it's a PG show,
We're not. I'm
but
talking
he's
Indiana
all over
football. And I've never heard Deacon say anything positive about Indiana football ever.
him.
Hello?
Yeah, Reg.
Hello?
Is he on?
Okay, I'm sorry. My Bluetooth been kicking in. I was getting out the
Oh
car.
yeah, you're good. You're good,
But
Reg.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
Decot's on hold. This is Reggie's time. I'm me and Reg are good.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Decot's
this is
in my
time.
doghouse right
This is
now.
my turn. First of all, he's dogging
Oh,
Purdue
man.
out. Look how many kids did Purdue have shit out? Overall, the Big Ten has performed very well against the SEC this year, you know? And how you gonna dog Purdue out and say you're an IU fan, but secretly you're a Tide fan? So you gotta be a bum loser, you know? And when you point things out to him, he don't understand. So at first, listening to the program, I felt like I was talking to Deep Powell on the phone the way you hating on Georgia. Thinking TCU gonna win? Taking the 3 points TCU first quarter? Are you crazy? What are you smoking? What are you on? Man, come on, man. Come back to earth, man. You know? I'm just saying, Georgia
Hey,
will
do
be
you
the
like
national
my
championship.
you like my touchdown bets though, right? And the passing and the rushing. That's good money. Hey, real quick, Reg. Real quick. I'm up about $600 over this past week's weekend of betting college football. So I'm hot right now with college. I'm telling you, write it. I'm hot.
Okay. I hear you talking, sir. I hear you talking. You know, but you know the sun shines on the dog's butt.
It does. I've had rough
Okay.
weeks,
So
but I'm
you
hot
know,
now.
you lucky once a day.
It's my year, buddy.
Greg,
It's my year. I'm doing well to start out. I'm getting married next weekend. Nothing better.
Greg,
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
win the championship.
Georgia's gonna win. It's gonna be a blowout. It ain't gonna be close. It's gonna be a blowout. I'm telling you. TCU will lose. And I won't be upset if TCU
Right.
wins,
Mm-hmm.
but I just don't think they're gonna have enough. Georgia knows. Hold on just a second, okay? Hold on.
All right.
This man said,
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I had to put my earbud in so I don't want to walk around with the phone next to my face while I'm walking into work. But I won't be mad if TCU wins the game. But I think Georgia realized that they got lucky last week. You know, they actually helped me cover my bet, and I didn't bet a lot because I was scared of some of the other parlays that I had on that. But I just think Georgia Bulldogs. Well, that's the only team I like in SEC. Let me take that back. I like Georgia and whoever playing Alabama in the SEC. You know, other than that,
Whoever playing
fuck
Alabama.
the SEC. I'm a Notre Dame Big Ten fan. And I'm just getting this out the way before the dummy come on the phone, you know?
Oh, wow.
Hey, what about them
Oh,
Pacers,
wow.
though? Got re-signed Miles. They're playing great.
People are
talking about the Pacers may be buyers instead of sellers. I don't think we need to buy anything. I think we need to keep 3 first-round draft picks and get some girth.
Buying who, Reg? Buying what? Buying, no, man. They can't buy nothing.
They've been linked to Jason Collins, and they've been linked to a few other players, too.
Oh, Jerry.
So,
Oh, okay.
not Jason Collins, Jay Collins.
John Collins.
Yeah. So I don't really care for that. I mean, I think he's a good ball player, but I think our chemistry. Let's get some rookies in here and go through our chemistry. Let's get that culture. I like that culture. This team likes each other. You know, Miles is going to get re-signed too.
Right. How many years is Miles going to get? They're going to be stuck with. I mean, I didn't say stuck. You don't want to have yourself in a situation where the players.
No, it's not show up. Because he's in super now. Players want to play with Halliburton. You know? That's like DeAndre Hayden wanted to come here, you know? He wanted to play with Halliburton. They're exciting. They don't never give up. Used to be, when the Pacers got down by 30 points, you knew they were going to lose the game.
Right.
It was a wrap. Now, if they get down by 30, they can win the game. They can win the game. They get down by 30.
Yeah.
So, and look at this last strip. What are they? 67? They're playing Philadelphia tonight. I know they're down like 4 points. But Joel Embiid to play just to get a good measure of what they're doing, you know. But I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be a playoff team, you know. I really do.
All right, Reg. Well, it's hard to hear you right now, brother. It's too loud.
Okay, hold on. Just put me on hold for 1 minute, and then I'm going to be in my private suite and you can hear me. Because I want to hear what the dummy has to say.
All right, I'll put you on hold. All right, he's going on hold. Let's bring his brother, who's in my doghouse right now. D-Cot, welcome to the show. Where have you been the last 6 weeks?
Fellas, you know, I've been in an undisclosed location, had some challenges I'm dealing with. You clearly the biggest challenge is what you all just heard, this shit show that you all just have to listen to for 7 minutes, right? So I'm not going to address him totally tonight because he's in Facebook jail for conduct unbecoming of a Facebook partner that goes against community standards. He's a bully and he's a loser and he's in the right place. So I'll leave it at that. So I'll go in reverse order.
I don't mean to cut your monologue. What did you think about the Kansas State game? Alabama versus Kansas State.
It went just like I thought it would go. Alabama has been notoriously slow starter all year. One of the things that O'Brien has been doing is filling out those first possessions to see how the defense is playing, right? And it was typical of what that game was. But the difference in that game was the Bama receivers caught the ball in traffic. That's it. I mean, they caught the ball in traffic. 3rd and 6, they caught the ball. They didn't drop it. So for me,
Kansas State didn't do themselves no favors either by not taking points and going for it on 4th. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what they were doing. They knew they couldn't beat them straight up. It's similar to what. Goodness. Let's be honest here. It's similar to what Belichick did against the Colts that Monday night game. They went for when they had the lead, and the Colts stopped them on that 4th and 1. He knew that in giving them the ball back, that was going to be dangerous. There was nothing but a pure desperation move at halftime when the game wasn't out of wasn't out of reach, and you go for a fake onside kick. That was just desperation move. I was telling Tornado. Me and Tornado were sitting there watching the game, and when that happened, I said, "Game over." I said they're going to go down and score, and they won't be the same. Yeah, that was understandable, right? I'm still disappointed because my excitement level wasn't what it is because it's just the Sugar Bowl. It wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, you want to see your team win, but I wanted to see Jalen Milroe
the
play
Sugar
all
Bowl
the
is
second
still
half.
important. They played like he was important.
Hey,
Bryce Young
I
played
took-
like he was important.
Listen. What I'm saying, because buddies of mine were messaging me saying, in the middle of the first quarter, don't tell me Bama's not interested. They're absolutely
Man,
interested.
stop it.
But here's the thing, the people that
You
say
need to
that,
tell these
people
buddies to
that say-
call into this show next season, man.
but they're bitter haters, right? They're bitter haters.
Got
So
you.
what happened was, these guys start off slow like they've done all year long. And I've been sitting here watching it. And I told the tornado, I said, here we go again. I said, the third possession, we'll kick it into gear. So that, I understand that, right? It was a disappointing season. Looking at how Michigan played, you love to say, well, we should have been in. I'm not doing that because I said 5 weeks ago they didn't deserve it, and I'm gonna say it today they didn't deserve to be in because you had it in front of you and you didn't take advantage of it, right? So that's their problem, right? I would have liked to see Jalen Milroe play the whole second half. I was pining for them for Will Anderson to not play. I was pining because here's why. They were going to leave no matter what, right? So you got to see what you got next season with these other players, with these 11 other other practices. But anyway, I'm not going to go.
But not when I'm betting, D-Cot. Hey, D-Cot, real quick. I had
Not when I'm betting.
I had Alabama -7.5. I had the over 52.5, and I had Alabama team total over 33.5. So I was hoping that those boys were going to play the whole time because for a bit it looked a little rough, and then it finally started picking up.
Yeah. But what happens is, man, in these situations, right? Nick made a big point about guys opting out, and all of our Bama sites, right? Man, there was a big deal about him talking about how the players were professional and fought for each other, right? Will Anderson. But here's, I'm gonna tell you this, right? I'm gonna knock Will Anderson, right? He talked about, I'm gonna play. Will Anderson only played on third down, so stop it. He only played on third down.
Yeah.
So don't tell me you went in there and you were going to do what you did against the Auburn game, right? I'm one of the few people that you got your team, but I'll dismiss my team too and the players. And he talked this, right? Where I'm going to play. No, you played safe. You played safe. And if you looked at the game, it looked like an effing Pro Bowl game the way he was playing. He didn't go hard at the quarterback. He suited up. And yes, he was there. And don't get me wrong, very valuable player. But he didn't go out. He played, yes, but he didn't play, if you know what I'm saying. So, sorry, Will. I got a lot of love for you, but nah, you wasn't the dude you said you're going to be. The next part of that, going into obviously Monday night's game, I absolutely anticipate Georgia beating TCU. I don't know about kicking the crap out of them and beating them by 30. But Georgia's a better team in spite of their quarterback, right? Not because of their quarterback, in spite of their quarterback.
Right.
And I won't use the phrase game manager, but he's in the system. He's been in the system now for 4 years now, right? And he's seen this deal. And so, yeah, and they don't. As you look at the game, they don't ask much of Seth and Bennett to do. So I mean, yeah, it's great. He'll be a two-time. Yeah, he'll be right. Who's going to be probably a top 15 pick when he comes out. So right. Yeah, he probably they put the ball in his hands to make the safe play. We'll cover you. So that's fine, right? Not a lot of interest, to be quite honest, right? Monday night, I think there's a new Big Cat series coming on National Geographic. I'll probably watch that.
Oh my goodness! Stop it!
I'm serious. Listen, because I don't like TCU. I don't like their arrogance of their coach having the nerve to diss the SEC saying that they play cupcakes. I'll tell you what, talk about the cupcakes come April's draft. We'll talk cupcakes then. Those guys, they can play who they want, but the NFL knows where to go get your talent. And the hell of a lot, it is not in the Big 12. So I don't like that.
Well,
right?
Future
I like Georgia.
Future Hall of Famer Patty Mahomes played in the Big 12.
Yeah. Well, I get it. That's him. That's one. So
did Jalen
secondly,
Hurts.
the other part is I like Georgia. Well, he was Alabama. Stop it. Don't even try it, Brandon.
Just saying.
Don't try to start an argument with me tonight. But I like the fact that Kirby Smart went at it the right way. He was a long-time assistant, went back to his alma mater, and just fought. You got to respect that, man. I'm not a Georgia fan, and I'm not an SEC fan, to be quite honest. I'm an Alabama fan.
I thought you were.
No. The other teams in the SEC, I
I don't mean to
think
disrespect
about. No, really, I don't. I don't care. I mean, I love Mississippi because that's my family.
Let's change.
But I don't just care less.
What's up with the Boilermaker hate, man? Why is my Twitter timeline filled with Boilermaker hate?
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. That was my next step. I'm an IU fan, man. I got IU memorabilia here in my basement too, right? I'm an IU fan. Right?
I've never heard you say anything about good, positive about IU football. I have not.
Jonathan, we talked about IU football the last time I called. We were talking about the linebacker that went to Oklahoma, and we were talking about the quarterback that went to Washington, Penix Jr. Right?
Why is everybody leaving?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is everybody leaving? Why is the exodus?
I'm gonna tell you. Two things, because everybody.
Could be a genesis.
That's one. But the other thing is this, right? I told people on my timeline, they said, well, all these guys in the transfer portal, like they were knocking Bama. Listen, if you think every kid that goes into the transfer portal is there at his own volition, you out your mind and you don't know sports. There are coaches saying, listen, hey, buddy, you're not playing next year. I'm not going to, make it public. But go ahead and do what you need to do, and I'll take the high road. But you're not playing, right? Okay. I believe 50% of the players in the portal are there because they were ushered there. Yes, absolutely, right? I'm saying
that what's not going to be renewed. I got you.
Yeah, absolutely. The kid Trey Sanders that plays with Bama, the 5-star. Remember the guy he tweeted out the prize saying, "Hey, do you have room?" Remember that? I think we talked about that. He's the ex-5-star that was at Bama. He tore his ACL his freshman year. He tore his his Achilles the next year. Bad car accident. He almost died. He wasn't going to see the field, man.
This dude knows. Right.
He wasn't going to see it. So he left. Oh, that's a 5-star that left. He's probably a 3-star right now, and he needs to go somewhere like UCF or a group of 5. No. What the reason why I'm saying that because he's been hurt, man. He's got major injuries, and he wasn't going to see the field. Bama has 2 of the top 3 running backs coming in this season, along with a carryover from this past year. It's just not going to work for him. So kid, Trey Sanders is a good kid, man. By the way, really good family. All I hear.
In the essence of time, D-Kai, because I think we got to wrap here a little bit. I got to ask both of you. Did you see enough of C.J. Stroud that if you're a quarterback away, that your team needs a quarterback, that you would take C.J. Stroud as a top 3 pick? That's my last question.
Not no, but hell no. Because he fits that system that spits out bad guys, right? But you know what? I would love to see the Colts taken because that would give me about 10 more years of trolling and misery for my buddy Reggie. So I'm pushing for C.J. Stroud because my boy Bryce isn't going to be available for the bums down there on the south side of downtown.
Oh man,
he's not going to be available. So I would love to see C.J. Stroud. If you look at the pre-draft projections. They're projected as 5th, and guess who's the 5th player to be picked? C.J. Money-making Stroud. I would love to see that. So yeah. So to all that point, man, it's been solid, man. But I've been trying to get on. I've called a couple times, and you guys have your prognosticator on there. And I don't know if that's a guy that lets his dog lick him in the face on his Facebook profile. That's kind of creepy to me. I don't remember his name, but you all have some.
Danny Bridges?
You know what I'm talking about. I can't remember. Whoever the guy that has a dog licking him in the face on his Facebook profile. Kind of sick to me. It's kind of weird. It's kind of creepy, so I don't mess with it, right? But not dead serious.
They might
Y'all
be,
know exactly
that's Daddy. Daddy does racing.
Nah, man. Nah. Well, I understand. That's fine. I can't be letting no dog kill me. It just don't work that way.
Hey, man,
anyway,
just take it easy on my Purdue Boilermakers, all right? Just take it easy.
Okay, listen.
I didn't do nothing to you.
Brandon, let me get this right. Check this out, right? We talked about this.
Yeah.
We talked about this, man. It's December. It's not January now, but it's December. And we're so excited about them being number one. There's no titles won in December,
I didn't
man.
say there was.
Come on.
Come on, man.
No, listen, but
And here's my thing. They were projected to lose against LSU. Their top 7 players opted out. What'd you expect?
I'm thinking, come on, man.
I'm talking both.
2 of them won't even get drafted. Those guys won't even get drafted.
But Connor
man.
was going to the draft.
Yeah.
But Connor was
I said 2 of them will get drafted. The other one's going to be sitting there working at Eli Lilly or doing something else, man. Why the hell are you going to opt out as you're a potential 5th round pick? Come on, man. Come on, man. Stop it.
Hey, McConnell's a 5th rounder.
No, 2 guys. I said 2 guys.
Hey, real quick.
His name is.
We got 2 minutes left with you before we have to go. Pacers 1-6 in the last 7.
We gotta talk this week. We gotta talk this week, fellas. Because I'm telling you, I gotta catch up with y'all. I'm watching the game now, and I've got some real takes, but I don't want to sell my boy short, right? On less than 2 minutes.
Because he wants to come back in, man.
Well, he's coming on right now. We got 2 minutes before I have to cut you both, so we can do a wrap. Reg, you're on.
Let's do this. Let's do this.
First of all, he has like Alabama to put out all-star quarterback. How many great draft picks do Alabama have? First of all, Alabama played Kansas State. It's Kansas State. The Bulls were supposed to win. And we're so great.
The Bulls were supposed to win.
And I won a championship. But they're not.
Jonathan, you see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about, Jonathan?
Roll downhill tide. Roll downhill tide.
Jonathan.
You know, if you're going to talk about the arrogance of the coach,
Everybody's talking over each other, man. We can't have this.
I'm gonna message
you, Jonathan. We'll talk on the side because there's a drunk man that's at work right now that we can't have communication with.
Allegedly.
I've seen him kiss the dog in the mouth before, so I don't know what he's talking about.
D-Cot, let's have a good banter on Twitter. I don't want no more of this Purdue hate all over my timeline.
Okay. Tell you what, Brandon, right. Give you my commitment. I'm gonna give you my commitment, Brandon. No more Purdue hate as long as y'all block Reggie from calling ever again.
Oh,
wow.
Oh man. All right, boys, we gotta wrap it. It's good talking to you both.
Happy New Year,
fellas.
Happy New Year. All right, John. Man, what a great show. I'll let you thank our sponsors. We didn't get the sponsors in tonight. We had a great packed show. I'll let you do all that stuff and wrap us up, my man.
Man, I know because of the short of time, man, I want to say thanks to Wisely Logistics. I want to say thanks to Scott K. Nichols, State Farm Insurance. I want to say thank you to Mavericks Custom Motorsports, man. How could we do our show without our sponsors? I want to say thank you to everybody who chimed in today and called in. Tanner Penrod, the King of Trolls, D-Cot. They are the normal cast of characters to kind of chime in with us on Crossroads Sports, man. Love those guys. And want to say also again, send another Happy New Year out to them. Hey, Crossroads Sports 2023. Brandon Reef is getting married. We're going to be there. And other than that, man, dude, get well soon, brother. Get well soon. And after all of that, man, we're going to wrap it up. We'll talk to you. I can't even get it right. I'm so excited.
90 seconds.
We'll do it again real soon, man.
Yep.
Crossroads Sports, thanks for listening, everybody.
Check us out on Twitter. The conversation continues.
Thanks for listening to the Crossroads Sports Radio Show. You can find more episodes on iTunes,